Hey guys. So, what was I going to talk about? This is like my third or fourth video, I think, that I'm making for, specifically for YouTube. I had posted some sort of nonsense things that I had just done with my camera when I was experimenting. But, this is more like a deliberate vlog, I guess. I think a vlog is when you take your camera around and you film stuff from your daily life, whereas when you're talking to the camera and telling stories, it's something else. Judging from other YouTube videos that I've seen. And so because I'm a little bit more self-conscious at the moment, that's why I don't seem to remember what I'm saying. Yeah, so I'm still kind of like wanting to study more about what would be paganism in Thailand, or I'm convinced that there is some form of paganism. I remember when I was a little kid, and I was living in India, someone brought me a book from Thailand called Thai Fairy Tales, and I don't remember all the stories. I remember that there was a story about polo. So I think actually polo was invented in the old kingdom of Siam, and I remember that there was this illustration of a prince wearing like the spiked crown and on a horse with a polo club. And I haven't seen anything about polo since I've been here, though. I remember when I stayed in England for a summer, I was in like the polo country, which was West Sussex, and everybody was crazy for polo, but I don't think that nobody told me in England that it had originated from Siamese culture necessarily. So I don't know if I'm just deducing that from that book. But the other story was about like this princess, like a heavenly nymph, kind of. I think in Hinduism they call it an apsara, which is like not quite a goddess, but it's a kind of a nymph of the sky. And they seem to have them in Thailand also, in some of the old stories. And basically she would go out and play in the clouds from her palace, and she had this gold or crystal ball, and then there was this sort of demon or monster that would chase her, and he had an axe, and he would always try and throw the axe at her, and every time he would throw it, at the last minute she would flash the crystal ball in his eyes, and his aim would go off, and then so the axe would tumble over the clouds, and it would make this rumbling sound as it fell over the clouds, which is their explanation for thunderstorms and lightning. And so the lightning was her shining the crystal ball, and of course the axe falling was the thunder. And I don't know, her name was Kamala, which is a Sanskrit name meaning lotus, and I don't know, I haven't actually asked anyone about that story since I've come here, and I've been here almost a year, so I should really get busy, but I haven't seen anything in the artwork or the statuary that looks like that even. And then there's supposed to be some heroine, some kind of famous heroine from the stories called Manto, which is also in the alphabet. There's this letter called Ta Manto, and then you never use it. There's no words for it. It's just the name of this heroine. And you learn that letter, and then they say it has no use in the language. So apart from that. So I'd be curious to know more about the background. And yeah, so I was spent most of the morning on YouTube watching paranormal videos by Jessie V from Canada, and I just find her whole style very entertaining. And there's a lot of YouTube videos about people doing paranormal investigations, and they seem to like this thing called a spirit box. And then there's also an app for their phones where you can take it around, and it sort of ostensibly shows you where the nearest ghost is, and then also it comes up with random words which I actually think is more interesting to watch than the spirit box, which is just like noise. It's just like crackling as if you're tuning in on shortwave radio to something, and then every so often there's a blip, and then all the investigators will go, oh, it said hi, or it said forest, or something like that. But I'm listening to it and I can't hear. It just sounds like bleh. Or just like meh. So it really doesn't sound like anything that you could make any meaning out of. And that's what I did this morning. And I am, one of these days when I wake up, today I woke up early and I was going to go and visit the coven here in Bangkok, but I got lazy. So I will do that tomorrow or the next day, and then maybe I will talk to you a bit about it after I do that. So happy days, everyone. Okay, bye.